Good morning, students. Welcome back. We are going to start the history chapter 2 from trade to territory. Let us start with the introduction of the chapter from trade to territory. This chapter is about how a British company, that is East India Company, came to India for the purpose of trade and later on became the master of India. Later to protect and grow its business interest, how it gradually acquired administrative and political control of India. Ultimately, it became a colonial ruler for the vast country like India. Dear children, as you know, British East India Company came to India for the purpose of trade only. But when they saw such a huge country with a big potential, they controlled the administrative and political powers of India and became the master of India. Before coming of Britishers, the last Mughal ruler was Aurangzeb. You must see this picture. It is a picture of Aurangzeb, who is the last Mughal ruler, and with him the Mughal Empire declined. After the death of Aurangzeb in 1707, powerful regional kingdoms emerged in various parts of India. Delhi was no longer the center of power, but after 1750, the British power started to emerge in India. With the death of Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, the ruler at Delhi was always a weaker person. Last Mughal ruler, Bahadur Shah Zafar, he was also a weak ruler. So British started to emerge in India and they see a great opportunity. They saw a great opportunity of controlling India. Arrival of East India Company. In 1600, the East India Company acquired a charter. Charter means an order from ruler of England, Queen Elizabeth I, granting it the sole right to trade with the East. Now, the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth I, granted the orders to the East India Company to trade in the eastern part of the world. This meant that no other trading group in England would compete with the East India Company. This royal order means that no other company in England besides East India Company will be there in India. Only East India Company is going to rule in the eastern part of the world. With this charter, the company would venture across the oceans looking for new lands from which it could buy goods at a cheaper price and carry them back to Europe to sell at higher prices. Now, company was given the task to go all over the world to look for the new land, capture that land, use the resources and the raw material, get it at a cheap price, and bring them back to Europe to be sold at a higher prices. This picture shows the working of East India Company in India. Now, the Royal Charter, that is the royal order of the Queen Elizabeth I, however, could not prevent other European powers from entering the Eastern market. That order stays for the British company, but other European countries they were also trying to enter into the Indian market. By the time first English ships sailed down the western coast of Africa around the Cape of Good Hope and crossed the Indian Ocean, the Portuguese are the people who belong to European country Portugal had already established their presence in the western coast of India and had their base in Goa. Before the British East India Company came to India, Portuguese had already been there in India and they established their base in Goa. In fact, it was Vasco da Gama. Vasco da Gama was the first person who discovered India and he was a Portuguese who had discovered the sea route to India in 1498. By the early 17th century, the Dutch too exploring the possibilities of trade in Indian Ocean. Soon, the French traders arrive on the scene. Now, besides Britishers, Portuguese were there in India, Dutch were also there in India. Dutch are the people who belong to Netherlands. And the French traders, the people from France, were also there. So there was a rivalry among the European countries. Who is going to capture India? Who is going to exploit India? Whether French, Britishers, Dutch, or Portuguese. Now the competition and reduction of profit. The problem was that all the companies were interested in buying the same things. British, French, Dutch, and Portuguese. The fine qualities of cotton and silk produced in India had a big market in Europe. Pepper, cloves, cardamom, and cinnamon too were in great demand, and all these four companies were competing for these all things, which had a huge market in Europe. Competition among the European companies inevitably pushed up the prices. Now, what had happened? There was a competition among the European countries, which means the prices of these goods have gone up, at which these goods could be purchased, and this reduced the profit that could be earned. So, prices has gone up, profit has been reduced. Eliminating the rivals of trade. Now, it is very important that the company should eliminate or remove all other rivals, all other trading companies. And the only way trading companies could flourish was by eliminating rival competitors. The urge to secure market therefore led to fierce battle between the trading company. Now to control India, there was a battle between Portuguese, French, Britishers and Dutch. Through the 17th and 18th century, they regularly sank each other's ship, blockaded routes, and prevented rival ships from moving with supplies of goods. Trade was carried on with arms and trading posts were protected through fortification. Fortification means kilebandi. This effort to fortify settlement and carry on the profitable trade also led to intense conflict with local rulers. Now, Britishers and all these East European powers, they were fighting among themselves. Besides that, they were also fighting with the local rulers. The company therefore found it difficult to separate trade from politics. The company, when we say company, it means East India Company. They found it very difficult to separate trade from politics. Let us see how this had happened. And we will discuss that in the next lecture. Now let me give you the homework. There are certain important words. I am giving you those words and the meaning. Please note down in your fair copy. Farman means royal order. Puppet refers to a person who is controlled by someone else. In Hindi, we call Katputli. So homework is read page number 12, 13, 14 and 15 up to topic company officials became nabobs. Next, we will discuss Battle of Plassey 1757 and Battle of Buxar 1764. Obey your parents and study hard, dear children. Take care of yourself and your parents. Till then, goodbye. Take care.